All persons having any business before this honourable court now draw nigh and give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Admission of lawyers. Aisha Attica Ali.
May it please the court, I move that Aisha Attica Ali be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Aisha Attica Ali be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shantini Andaraja.
May it please the court, I move that Shantini Andaraja be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Shantini Andaraja be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Christopher James Bernard Smith.
May it please the court, I move that Christopher James Bernard Smith be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Christopher James Bernard Smith be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Drusilla Nabila Bassoum.
May it please the court, I move that Drusilla Nabila Bassoum be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Drusilla Nabila Bassoum be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zoe Kyran Booth.
May it please the court, I move that Zoe Kyran Booth be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Zoe Kyran Booth be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Annabelle Rosalind Burgess.
May it please the court, I move that Annabelle Rosalind Burgess be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Annabelle Rosalind Burgess be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Aris Shupeng Kao.
May it please the court, I move that Aris Shupeng Kao be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Aris Shupeng Kao be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Yixin Chua.
May it please the court, I move that Yixin Chua be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yixin Chua be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Adam Robert Jeffrey Clements.
May it please the court, I move that Adam Robert Jeffrey Clements be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Adam Robert Jeffrey Clements be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hero Emily Cook.
May it please the court, I move that Hero Emily Cook be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Hero Emily Cook be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
James Kent Cook.
May it please the court, I move that James Kent Cook be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let James Kent Cook be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jordan Anthony Creasy.
May it please the court, I move that Jordan Anthony Creasy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jordan Anthony Creasy be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Patrick Joseph Dabul.
May it please the court, I move that Patrick Joseph Dabul be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Patrick Joseph Dabul be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mukesh Dahia.
May it please the court, I move that Mukesh Dahia be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Mukesh Dahia be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Salim Daura.
May it please the court, I move that Salim Daura be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Salim Daura be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Larissa Emily Day.
May it please the court, I move that Larissa Emily Day be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Larissa Emily Day be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Meriki Jacqueline Duck.
May it please the court, I move that Meriki Jacqueline Duck be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Meriki Jacqueline Duck be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Seri Brana Feldman Gubay.
May it please the court, I move that Seri Brana Feldman Gubay be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Seri Brana Feldman Gubay be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Henry James Gallagher.
May it please the court, I move that Henry James Gallagher be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Henry James Gallagher be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jonathan Georgaklis.
May it please the court, I move that Jonathan Georgaklis be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jonathan Georgaklis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jade Hannaford.
May it please the court, I move that Jade Hannaford be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jade Hannaford be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Joshua Benjamin Carway Ho.
May it please the court, I move that Joshua Benjamin Carway Ho be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Joshua Benjamin Carway Ho be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sanya Jane.
May it please the court, I move that Sanya Jane be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sanya Jane be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Spiros Kalvratinos.
May it please the court, I move that Spiros Kalvratinos be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Spiros Kalvratinos be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hayon Lee.
May it please the Court, I move that Hayon Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Hayon Lee be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Harish Markham.
May it please the Court, I move that Harish Markham be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Harish Markham be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Liam McCloskey.
May it please the Court, I move that Liam McCloskey be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Liam McCloskey be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Azra Masanovic.
May it please the Court, I move that Azra Masanovic be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Azra Masanovic be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Anna Slajana Mitic.
May it please the Court, I move that Anna Slajana Mitic be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Anna Slajana Mitic be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Michelle Momond.
May it please the Court, I move that Michelle Momond be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Michelle Momond be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Meredith Alice Ruby O'Connor.
May it please the Court, I move that Meredith Alice Ruby O'Connor be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Meredith Alice Ruby O'Connor be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Liam Thomas Ogburn.
May it please the Court, I move that Liam Thomas Ogburn be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Liam Thomas Ogburn be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Georgina Ada Perkins.
May it please the Court, I move that Georgina Ada Perkins be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Georgina Ada Perkins be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Savannah Ray Russo.
May it please the Court, I move that Savannah Ray Russo be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Savannah Ray Russo be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tian Shi.
May it please the Court, I move that Tian Shi be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Tian Shi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Neri Tang Brahma.
May it please the Court, I move that Neri Tang Brahma be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Neri Tang Brahma be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ryan Kaylee Terrell.
May it please the Court, I move that Ryan Kaylee Terrell be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Ryan Kaylee Terrell be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Amelia Grace Hellis Turnbull.
May it please the Court, I move that Amelia Grace Hellis Turnbull be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Amelia Grace Hellis Turnbull be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Paul John Vrazis.
May it please the Court, I move that Paul John Vrazis be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Paul John Vrazis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Taylor James Weston.
May it please the Court, I move that Taylor James Weston be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Taylor James Weston be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shung Yu Wu.
May it please the Court, I move that Shung Yu Wu be admitted as a lawyer of this Honourable Court.
That Shung Yu Wu be admitted as a lawyer of this court. Thank you, Registrar. Now that the formal moving of lawyers has ended, I'd like to warmly welcome you to this virtual admission ceremony at the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today, to my right, is Justice Ward, who is the Chief Judge of the Equity Division of the Court, and to my left, Justice Williams, who is a member of the Equity Division. Together, we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice. As we gather for this celebration, physically dispersed, I would like to begin by recognising the various traditional lands on which we meet. This ceremony is streamed from the Banco Court, which is located on the land of the Gadigal people of the first of the Eora Nation. I acknowledge these traditional custodians and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We recognise the long-standing and enduring customs and traditions of Australia's First Nations and acknowledge with deep regret the role our legal system has had in perpetrating many injustices against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. To all the new lawyers watching today, welcome to the legal profession. This admission ceremony may be different to what you were expecting. These are challenging times when you are unable to be admitted in person. However, your admission, conducted remotely, reflects the agility and adaptability which you'll need to possess as lawyers in an age of great change. This is, however, a time for celebration. You've all worked extremely hard to get to this point, through caffeine-fueled nights and obscure problem questions, reading countless wafer-thin pages of textbook and more cases than you could hope to remember. You've entered the world of eggshell skulls, encountered a mysterious reasonable person, and have understood the Constitution consists of so much more than the vibe of the thing. In becoming a lawyer, you have joined a centuries-old profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an admissions oath dates back to the 12th century. This court first admitted lawyers to practice in 1824, and by 1830 the names of lawyers were entered onto rolls in this state. You have now become part of this tradition almost 200 years later. Perhaps for some of you that's how long it feels like you've been studying. For many of you also, the support of your family and friends over those years has been invaluable. No doubt they have also from time to time been on the receiving end of your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion. I do hope you take the time to thank them today. The oath or affirmation you made before this ceremony is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, or an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. It is an acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility, that we observe today's unique formalities, including the moving of lawyers and a somewhat unusual choice of fashion. On a lighter note, on one occasion some years ago, a young member of the audience asked if we were doing Santa photos after the ceremony. I was very sorry to disappoint. However, although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. You will be unsurprised to hear that over the past year and a half, we've had to adapt quite a bit, as you can see today. COVID-19 has meant a rapid shift in increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure that access to justice continues in the midst of a pandemic. Things didn't always go so smoothly, as those with me on the bench can undoubtedly attest to. There have been real difficulties to grapple with in terms of open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants. And occasionally a lawyer might even get stuck behind a Zoom kitten filter. But for all the challenges we are facing, the impetus is greater than ever before for us to prioritise flexibility and accessibility. Better use of technology and increased working from home arrangements have profound implications for how our legal system interacts with many people, including those in rural or remote areas, those with a disability, medical conditions, or carers' responsibilities. As the newest members of the profession, you are at the forefront of innovation in the law and have a unique opportunity to see through changes so that justice is done openly and equitably. There are, of course, other changes that deserve attention. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter the duality that we have come very far and that much still needs to be done. Though women were originally not permitted to practice, since 2018, women have made up more than half of the solicitors in New South Wales and currently make up 63% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of Australia. I'm delighted to see that two of them are sitting with me today. However, women continue to face challenges of representation, including amongst judges of the court and, for example, amongst barristers in speaking roles before the High Court of Australia. On the other hand, it is heartening to see that the local court of New South Wales has almost achieved gender parity amongst magistrates, but we must not be complacent about these issues. There are other noticeable diversity concerns that we must face head-on. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and people from diverse cultural backgrounds continue to be alarmingly underrepresented in the legal profession, and particularly within the judiciary and the ranks of senior counsel. We must also be alert to barriers to the profession from people from less privileged backgrounds. Law should not be a profession for the wealthy, and the idea that students may be dissuaded from studying law by the cost of a law degree, which again this year has increased, or because of other systemic issues is troubling. Not just this, but we'll only achieve a truly diverse profession when barriers to advancement are broken down and people from different backgrounds are properly supported in a collegiate and inclusive environment, free from harassment and discrimination. These issues are fundamental to a just and transparent legal system and to the legitimacy of the rule of law. We need diverse representation amongst advocates and judges so that all people who become involved in our justice system can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. Despite these challenges, there is real scope for change. There is far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than those who have been around for as long as me. You are in a unique position as new lawyers who are entering the profession at a time when more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment, or bullying within the profession, unfair law, or systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable. I urge you to continue to speak up for these things. They do matter. You are the future of the profession and will steer the direction it will take. As a lawyer, you will also need to make difficult ethical decisions at times. With regard to our personal characteristics, lawyers have been the butt of jokes for centuries. Some would say, of course, there are only a few lawyer jokes, the rest are true stories. Jokes aside, however, you must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court, the administration of justice, and other ethical duties you must uphold. Now that you are lawyers, you can get paid to argue instead of just arguing for free. Of course, there is more to it than that. You're an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate for the marginalised. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum as a series of abstract concepts, but law as it applies to people's lives. For this reason, you must strive to deliver legal services competently and fearlessly, with courtesy and integrity. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, once said, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same questions for the same reason, no matter who asks the question, or for what purpose, or in what context the asking may occur." This is fundamental to the rule of law. For those of you who will practice law, the way you communicate information to others will have profound consequences for access to justice. For a non-lawyer, the law is often incomprehensible. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. One thing you will regrettably strike throughout your career is legislation which seems carefully crafted to ensure that no one can understand it. Your task is not just to understand it, but to explain it clearly to those whose rights and interests are affected by it. As lawyers, we must not keep the law locked up as something knowable only to us. A client reading your advice should be empowered to understand your meaning, not mystified and confused. So be clear and concise in your writing and your speaking. Plain English is powerful. Consider, do I really need to say aforementioned or herewith? Must I sprinkle in that Latin phrase? Should I really use double negatives, tautologies, wordy clauses, and split infinitives to take up a whole page? I would suggest the answer to those questions is no. The best advocates can make their points simply and succinctly. Now, some of the most experienced lawyers and judges could also use that reminder, but don't pick up their bad habits. I also want to say a word about failure. I'd not be surprised if there were quite a few overachievers and perfectionists watching this live stream today. Even so, at various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some perhaps more serious. When you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from those errors. You must fail at times in order to grow. What is important is that you don't make the same mistake twice. I myself have made many mistakes over the years, far too few to remember. Even as Chief Justice, my decisions have on occasions been successfully appealed to the High Court. When that happens, all I do is simply remind myself through gritted teeth that it's not a legal fiction that the High Court is never wrong. But sometimes even their cases are overruled, either by the legislature or by subsequent benches. Finally, I want to mention that your mental health is extremely important. This may sound unexpected at this type of ceremony, but the law is not everything. There may be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out or distressed. If you do, you should not be afraid to seek professional help or to take a step back when you need to. Also remember, the law is a collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support of your peers will prove invaluable. I found this out throughout my legal career. Although you might find it hard to believe, I was admitted quite a long time ago. I lost my first case, and I lost many more after that. Throughout my 35 years in practice, I could always count on the other barristers on my floor to share my disappointment at the unfairness of the verdict, the slight tactics of opposing counsel, and most often, I regret to say, the obtuseness of the judge or judges before whom I was appearing. I hasten to add I don't include either of my fellow judges on the bench in that comment. On behalf of all the judges of the Supreme Court, and particularly those sitting with me today, can I once again congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
Silence or stand.